Hello everybody's welcome back to another fantastic video. It's the fourth episode of the Kodak Gold series, of part 2. We got archiving next, but, we got archiving after this one, but we don't have the negatives yet to put in our folder here, but we'll get the negatives at some point, and then archiving will be next. But before we end up with that, of course, it is the 27th? Friday the 27th? Is this when this is going to come out? Give me a sec, because I have everything set up for all these episodes. Okay, it's Saturday 21st of June, not the 27th. Jumping ahead of myself there. There's, of course, tomorrow, then you will see archiving the original Wolfen negatives. They're coming out tomorrow and Sunday. Well, tomorrow is the first one in the Pentax MZ60. The Canon 650 will be the 27th. That's why I'm jumping ahead of myself. Sorry about that. Right, so we've got my Canon 650 right here. Of course, this is the fourth episode where we went to Comic Con. Of course, we used the Pentax MZ60, and we also used, the original plan for this episode was to use the 35-70. We did that at the end of this roll, but unfortunately I forgot my SD card for my digital camera, but I was mostly inside, so I thought, let's change it up and use it as a test for the 50mm. So the 50mm F1.8 as at the start of this roll, then at the end was the 35-70 that we tested out, and I was expecting Kodak Gold. The negatives weren't going to come out, so that's why I didn't have the 50mm in the thumbnail for the previous episode, because I thought the negatives weren't going to come out, the photos are going to be too dark. Turns out, you'll see in a moment. Right, so we need to go into Kodak Gold, Canon 650. So we will be going into our fourth one of Kodak Gold, where we were shooting with, technically the original plan for this roll, like I said, was the 35-70mm, but that kind of got backtracked, and because of course the 35-70 was outside with Sammy at the time, and also I forgot my SD card. We were shooting with 50, so the wall kind of changed to, can we shoot Kodak Gold inside? And I will show you these photos. Of course, we shot the 35-70, which was the original plan at the end of the roll. But most of this roll was shot firstly with a 50mm. Again, just like Bridlington. And the 35-70 was at the end because it was quite light, carrying these two lenses. Yeah. Of course, we'll be shooting the 100-300. I'll probably have the 35-70 to back this one up while we're in Skipsea at Park Dean Resort. Of course, when I'm filming this, I'm not there yet, but by the time you're watching this, I've been back for quite a while, because it will be on the 21st of June, sorry. So I've been back for quite a while, an entire week, so I don't know how that will go. Also, I bought some more Ilford Delta 100, so I'll be shooting more of this the entire holiday for both the Canon 650 and the Pentax MZ60. So they're on their way. Hopefully I get it before the holiday, otherwise the entire holiday will be kind of me for the entire plans. Yeah, this Ilford Delta has been sat on my desk since we shot it on the 10th. Other videos, no idea. But anyway, other videos, we got the original Wolf Run, the last 3 episodes for the Pentax MZ60. Will be coming very soon. I'll have to wait till I can send them off because I need to do shopping and stuff like that, so can't do it that. And yeah, so let's go into our 4th roll, and you can see already got some interesting images. So this was shot with the 50mm 1.8, of course at 1.8 because of the low light situation. You got the halation. You can tell that I had to really cut down backwards with some of the photos because I had to lower it down enough that the photos just don't look terrible, but they look fine. Very well lit. Of course, if we had a higher ISO, of course, it would have been much better. So, all of these were shot at 200 ISO, which is incredible how I managed to pull it off. Of course, you've got Paul McGann. And then you've got some cosplayers. And just going for a wander around Comic Con. You got the zombie cosplayers at the back, but I got a better shot of them on something else. Triceratops, which I did try and get another picture of this on digital when I did a second walk around. And then you got the T-Rex on the toilet. I thought I would have managed to get the whole thing in because the toilet was down here, but I didn't. I just got the T-Rex head. Somehow is in focus. And then you got Star Wars. They've got someone posing for me. Unfortunately, this person got cut off, which is unfortunate. But it was still decent. Yeah, it's the fact it's still pretty well lit considering it's 200 ISO. You've got some halation going on with the lights, but the fact is it's extremely well lit. And then you've got Sammy here, which yeah, the fact is very well lit considering it's 200 ISO. And you've got zombie cosplayers, like I said. I was wandering around. And you got the other person that we were with that day. And their cat. And Star Wars again. And then This is where we switched to 35 to 70. Thing is, this lens is supposed to have a thing in it that stops these lens flares, but still happened. Yeah, I don't think the lens flare worked in its favour. It just caused a lot of flare, but it's an interesting image now. Then we've got this image, which kind of blurry, but this is the end of the event. Again, got some lens flaring. I don't know why I took a picture of this. I don't know. And on the way back, it tells a story, and it's actually impressive. And now I took a picture of the, because I had film left, and I wanted the crates, so got some shots of that, and also got a lens flare. And then you got Sammy again, and the other person we're with. Sorry, I forgot your name. And then you've got some. And of course, all of the whatever they're called, shipping crates. Then I saw these flowers and I thought, you know what, let's make the back ones in focus and have the ones in the front out of focus. It'll come for a very interesting image, but then I was like, got it back, and I was like, wouldn't it be better if I did the front in focus and the back out of focus? Never mind. Then you got the England flag. Well, you got the England flag. Then you got another image of Sammy there. And then you've got the end of the roll. Almost. You've got the bridge. Sort of a bit meh. Sort of blurry. Then you've got the hills. Then you've got this tree, which I think I was supposed to like try and take a picture of over the barrier to try and get the water. But that didn't work. Neither did this actually. So that one kind of is a lot better. But that one, nah, didn't work. So that will be deleted. So technically we only got 33 shots out of that shot. Anything else that I don't want anymore? You know what? I'm going to keep this because it's an impressive shot. I like this. You know, I probably will get a better one later if I ever go back to Meadowhall. Apart from that, all the other shots are pretty cool. Because you can see this here, I ran across the road to take the picture and still don't work. But this one's too bloody blurry and I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. But it's still a pretty interesting shot. I don't know if this was the accident shot, because I know I pressed the shutter by accident at some point. Unless it's that one. You know, I'm just going to keep it because I think I can still salvage it. How blurry it is. Unless I took it while I was still walking, which is probably not something I want to do. Anyway, that's it. One, what did I learn from this role? One, Kodak Gold is pretty good in low light. And number two, taking two cameras was not a good plan. Two rolls of film probably would have been better in one camera. But yeah, three cameras if you count my digital. Was it worth it? Got some interesting shots, but again, the only ones that came out is the ones with Sammy and all of that, make the role a little bit usable. Just the mediocre weird ones like the shipping crates and yeah, the blurry photos. See if we can salvage some of these Comic Con inside pics. So we're gonna go into my Lightroom Classic, and we're gonna pause here, and right, okay, it's not fully loaded yet. We can. Of course it's gonna crash, ain't it? While we wait, we can take a look at some of these shots. While we wait for Lightroom Classic to come back on, we can talk about put one of these shots on. Let's put Paul down. While we let Lightroom Classic let's talk about what's gonna happen. So of course we're gonna go use Gipsy. So the first vlog will be a Kodak Gold video in the Canon 650. That will be the very first video of the Gipsy vlogs. Shooting with 100 to 300. Okay, we got Lightroom going, and yeah, of course, the first part of that vlog will be packing all our film into our crate, and then yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Move these. Wait, you can't custom order? Okay, that is pointless. So lens tagger. So we are save. Want to save the preset. Boom. So now we've got all my lenses now, I think. So we want to go to 50mm. Max aperture was 1.8. I know that for certain. And of course, it can only do 50. And it actually was 101.8. So the exposure time actually was 125/5 of a second at f1.8. A Kodak Gold 200. Why is it not actually got the camera make and model installed? This is annoying, especially when I'm there we go. 650. Boom. There we go. Hit the update. And can we? So yeah, Skipsy will be coming up. Will be the first episode. Of course. Then, of course, after Kodak Gold, we'll be going into Kodak Color Plus. Which is going to be absolutely brilliant. Because we'll be going back to the 50mm again. Then we've got Alpha Delta for both Pentax and for the Canon as well being shot, as well as Cinestill 800T. Unfortunately, we only got 2 rolls of that, so that won't be sent off straight away. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of shooting vlogs. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy Skipsy. Also, we will be going to Cleethorpes on the 28th of June as well for an event. So even though this is the first when you're watching this, next Saturday we'll be going to an event in Cleethorpes. So we'll be shooting some film then. Hopefully we should have enough film to send off to the lab, well, enough money to send off to the lab, and then get some more rolls back for that Saturday, hopefully. To do the 4th rolls of the Alpha Delta 100 and Kodak Color Plus. Will I miss shooting gold for the rest of this year? I don't know. Gold has its moments. Colour Plus is the older emulsion. So yeah, gold is the much older emulsion. So if we... So it's going to be interesting. I'm surprised actually that gold has this much low light potential. I wasn't expecting it to have this much, and you can bring so much of it back too, which I'll show you in a bit. Once we put all the lens data in. So of course, primes are much easier to figure out what the focal length you used, and the aperture is definitely, when you're in low light, basically the only aperture that you'll be using is f1.8 in this lens, so unless I'm using it outside, but otherwise I'm not using the 50mm. I was using the 35 to 70, sorry, not the 105. But prime lenses, much easier to figure out. The zoom lenses, you know, I don't really like. Maybe on my film I probably will start only using like prime lenses once I get more, because the only prime lens I have is the 50-50. Once I get more, as time goes on. Okay, so far I've only got zooms. But the fact that gold has such more leeway, like, I know that parents probably shot with gold inside, so understandable that they're able to pull this much at a much lower ISO. The fact it looks pretty usable too, because my mum probably only used the 2890 in low light, obviously using the flash. I didn't even use a flash here at any of these shots. Probably could have done in some areas, but some areas I really didn't need to use a flash. But in some areas I probably should have. Probably would have got more exposure. Then it probably would have gone to 2.8. And then again, I don't know. So we want to put extra plug-in, add the lens. Okay, it's not the nifty 50, it's the... Wait, do we actually add 35 to 70? Okay, we didn't have the 35 to 70. Damn it. So I want to get rid of all the information. I mean, we could probably leave the exposure time because I think I left it at 1/25. Well, I mean, if it has the A series, which is coming up at some point, that's what I would have put. But it's not the A series, it's the clean one. And the focal lengths vary quite frequently for the 35-70, so I'm just going to leave that blank. So f-stop, I'm assuming it's probably f9 that it was shooting at. Or was it f10? No, it would have been f9 it probably was shooting at in most of them. So I'm going to hit update and then run. So I'm going to leave the focal lengths just at a variety of focal lengths. If I'm using prime, then basically I would put it there because it's a lot easier to figure out. Definitely when you're doing low light, there's only a few situations you would be using. Slider now, which is nice. So as you can see, this is it much bigger. And you can tell which one is much better. Yeah, you can tell which one's much better. So I want to move all the information that I did to try and repair this shot. I want to copy. I'm going to move it to the new shot with the lens information. There we go, we prepared that. Now we can delete this, delete one folder. Now, this is a shot, which is our second shot here, which looks much better. I'm going to copy, and we're going to paste it onto this shot. Now, this can be deleted. Just doesn't. When we get rest, we will put all the information in. But you can tell now, if I hit this and hit the original, much better shot, and it looks more beautiful. So we're going to do the same for this one because it looks way green, or way too green. So what we want to do is hit auto, and then hit auto on that, and that makes it a little tungsten. What we want to do is hit the slider a little bit more that way and a little bit that way, add a bit more colour, more saturation. Now what we need to do is to go into a light and knock down the exposure a tad, hit the contrast, up the highlights a tad, sweep down the shadows, hit the whites and up the blacks a bit, and there you go. And that's how I do it. this is going to be a bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do to start most of these is going to go to this camera and film the rest. So see you in a bit. So all of the indoor scenes are now completely color corrected. Now we need to color correct all of the outdoor scenes. There's not much work to do. I can just click auto and it will do it completely for me. This one's a bit more difficult since one got this light beam coming in. Now that makes it more interesting. So you've got emphasize the lens flare coming in on this folder. Can we still make it add a little bit more yellow? There we go. It still looks like Kodak Gold. Just added a little bit more lens flare. A shot, auto, 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 and auto. There's not really much else to do with that photo. And then you've got another lens flare-esque shot here. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Auto that, and auto. To be fair, this lens, the 35-70, isn't supposed to actually lens flare, but as you can probably see, it's lens flared quite a bit. I believe this was also a mistake shot, so I don't know if I'm gonna just remove this shot from existence. Yeah, sort of saved it, but it's not saved enough to actually print it at some point. And then you've got another lens flare-esque shot. So I think if we auto to emphasize the lens flare, then you've got this lens flare shot. And there you go. And that is all of our shots. It's not too bad. We managed to repair a lot of these shots. Right, so we managed to repair a load of these shots, which is great. At least now, some of them are pretty decent. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Kodak Gold to have so much exposure latitude, but makes sense considering probably what most companies would have shot on when they taken pictures of
high school, well, primary school pantos and stuff like that. Probably what my mum probably was shooting the majority of them on. We weren't using like 800 ISO film. Yeah, didn't expect it to have so much lag longitude there, even at that level. I mean, you can really push almost it back and still get decent enough information. Which is impressive that you get so much information in that image. I mean, majority of the time I'll probably just remove everything in these dark images, but you know, not what I want to do. But anyway, enough about the images. So, what can I say? Kodak Gold has an interesting exposure latitude, but especially because it's a consumer film, and well, you know, people will be shooting it at the most non-situation specific times, so understandable, but you can literally shoot it in not optimal conditions and still get away with getting some of the information in. Kodak Gold, cool. Especially when paired with an EF50 like this, actually kind of saved some of these shots. If I'd had just brought the 35-70, I don't, they would look way different. I don't think 2.5 would have literally any information whatsoever in these photos, so the 50 definitely helps here. And outside, 35-70 definitely works. Now, I don't know, over time the anti-flaring software that's in this lens probably broke, and no longer it flares a lot of the time. Now, you need to do more tests with this lens, but I'm okay with the little bit of a lens flare. It makes the images a little bit more interesting. Now, of course, at the end of this video, we will be showing all the photos that we took. Only a couple, not all of them. Otherwise, we'll be all day. But that is it for Kodak Gold episode roll 4. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.